looking for a new go-to vocal compressor plugin, and the Blue Stripe 1176 is in your crosshairs. You're debating picking up the Wave CLA76 or the Slate Digital FG116 Blue Stripe, and you want to know which of the two are better. In this video, we'll take a look at how both compressors stack up on vocals. So I went ahead and duplicated this main vocal, and I applied one vocal with the CLA76 Blue. I have on the other instance the FG116 Blue Stripe Vintage from Slate Digital. I'm not going to go into too much detail about each one of these compressors. I'm just going to set them up similar, and we're going to take a listen to A and B and then bring in the full track where it's at right now and see which compressor we think sits better in this certain production. Now, it is going to be subjective on the vocal that you apply it to, but in this instance, it's going to be a pop punk song. So let's take a listen to the vocal and start dialing in the CLA76 first.
The phone's been ringing off the hook.
So I want a little bit more bite out of the compressor, so I'm going to push the attack up.
The phone's been ringing off the phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing.
Let's do an 8-to-1 ratio.
The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook.
Maybe a 12-to-1. I really want to smack that vocal.
The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook.
Back off that gain a little bit.
The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook.
I like where that's at for right now. Let's go to the Slate version now.
The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing off the hook. 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 The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing off.
It's really interesting that I have to put in some more gain on the input just to get the compressor working, whereas CLA76, it was already taking in the vocal, and it was already smacking, I think, at like 7 dB when we first started.
The phone's been ringing off the phone's been.
This attack is a little bit more grabbier too on the Slate.
The phone's been ringing off. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the. The phone's been ringing off. The phone's been ringing off.
A little bit more mid-range warmth to the vocal on the Slate Digital to my ears. In a mix, I'm gonna end up wanting to take some of that out because there's just too much of that, and it's gonna compete with the bass and the snare.
The phone's been ringing off the hook.
Whereas already with the CLA76, it's that lower mid chest vocal is not really in the way. It's like parking it up in the higher mids, which won't really compete too much with that snare and that bass that I mentioned.
The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing off the hook.
I wonder if Circuit 2 will give us what that CLA76 is doing.
The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing off the hook.
A little bit.
In a shop that never sleeps. In a shop that never sleeps. In a shop that never sleeps. In a shop that never sleeps.
The Slate one is just a hair warmer in the vocal range to me.
In a shop that never sleeps. In a shop that never sleeps.
So to my ear, the Slate Digital has more character going on than the 76. I'm liking what the CLA76, so what it's doing to the vocal. We need to hear it in with the rest of the track. So we're going to pretend that we've just recorded this band and now we're tracking vocals and we're using the 76 Blue Stripe as our vocal tracking compressor. And let's see how it stacks up.
The phone's been ringing off the hook. In a shop that never sleeps. We only serve the best topics. Only serve one kind of. The phone's been ringing off the hook. In a shop that never sleeps. The phone's been ringing off.
Right now, I'm just adjusting the attack and the release on these to get them kind of in a similar ballpark so we can back and forth.
The phone's been ringing. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off. The phone's been ringing off. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook. The phone's been ringing off the hook.
Circuit 1 is giving it more body. That's going to compete, and I'm going to have to EQ that out. And I'd rather go with Circuit 2, where I'm not going to get as much of that in the mix, and I won't have to take it out with EQ.
I can't let go. I can't let go. I guess I'll eat alone. The phone's been ringing off the hook. In a shop that never sleeps.
I'm leaning more towards the CLA 76 just because I like what it's doing to the mid-range, that bite of the vocal. I like what it's doing on that compressor. The Slate one has more mojo. It's not really putting the vocal in a parking space that I want it to live in for this type of production in this vocal.
The phone's been ringing off the hook. In a shop that never sleeps. In a shop that never sleeps. In a shop that never sleeps.
Towards the end of the line, the CLA 76, there's still like that bite and that attack in the performance that's coming out of the compressor. Whereas on the Slate version, it kind of sounds like it's dying down towards the end of the phrase.
In a shop that never sleeps. In a shop that never sleeps. We only serve the best topics. We only serve the best topics. We only serve the best topics. Only serve one kind. Only serve one kind of pie. Only serve one kind of pie.
To my ear on this particular one, I think the CLA 76 would win on this vocal for this particular singer. I might try to do another one of these with these two compressors on a different type of vocal to see how it does against like a scream or a different timbre of vocalist to Cole in the Gold. In the comments, let us know which of these two compressors would you have gone with in your own production. And if you've made it this far and enjoyed the video, do us a favor and boop that like button below for the almighty YouTube algorithm. We'd greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video.